Yo, what up YouTube? It's Calvish here, and today I'm bringing you guys something that many people have asked me for in the past because we've reached our sub goal on my Twitch stream, twitch.tv/Calvish. I've been live every day for the last few weeks. I'm planning to keep it that way. But anyways, we have an advanced sub-rogue guide here. If you don't know me, my name's Calvish. I've been rank 1 for 11 seasons straight. I have rank 1 in solos. I have rank 1 in Blitz. I've won multiple AWCs. I've won the last 2 AWCs with my team. And almost everything on Sub-Rogue in the last few years for PvP, has basically been developed by me. So today we have a pretty advanced guide for you guys. We're going to go over add-ons. We're going to go over gearing and embellishments, talents, races, rotation, openers. We got some comps. I have some macros, and this is also going to be a BG Blitz guide as well. So I'm going to have some information near the end of the video about Blitz maps and strategies for how you want to plan Blitz and the different talents you should take as well. Also, guys, let me know if you want to see some more educational type of things. I'm thinking about hosting some arena commentary, so definitely let me know if you'd be interested in that. And last thing, before we start the guide, the slideshow and timestamps will also be down below at the bottom of the video or in the description. The slideshow will be in the description along with timestamps. So anyway, guys, let's get right into it. We got a cooked up Google slideshow here. Everything will be on my Discord for all my add-on profiles. So you can click that in the description, or if you're opening the slideshow, you can click it right here. And we're going to use CurseForge to install these add-ons. So for mandatory add-ons, I don't have, so if I open WoW here, you guys will see I don't have all of the add-ons inside of this guide, but that's because I have a lot of like really, really random stuff that you don't really need to worry about. But these right here are basically, in my opinion, the must of PvP, especially details, mini CC, and S Arena. But just to quickly go over what all of these do. Details is a damage meter. It's just better than the WoW damage meter. It doesn't matter that much, but I heavily prefer, and many people heavily prefer, to use the details one. Better Blizz frames and better Blizz plates. These are like core add-ons in the last few years for WoW. You get a ton of settings in this, like an actual disgusting amount of settings. I would recommend just clicking my profile right here and copying it, and same for the better Blizz plates setting as well. But you could also go through and change all of these things. I've already done it all, so probably just click my profile, but there's like a lot of crazy random things in here. Like, it's not just for your frames. You can get like legacy combo points if you want it, and random stuff like that. But so that's the better Blizz add-ons. Mini CC is a big debuffs replacement and omnibar replacement, so those add-ons no longer work, if you guys know those add-ons. If you don't know those add-ons, what mini CC does is it does a lot of things, but the big thing that it's going to do is when you CC something, it's going to put it right here on the frame, or if they press a defensive or an offensive, you'll be able to see it here as well. Something else that it'll do is you'll be able to track cooldowns with it, so you can see when I click test mode, a lot of stuff comes up. These are a lot of different things. First, we have, this is an offensive cooldown tracker. This is teammate CC. This is teammate cooldowns. And this is teammate if they get interrupted or if they have a defensive up. And then over here on the right side, this is going to be on arena frames, which I'll talk about in a second. These are just cooldowns that's going to be attached to your arena frames, but it's done through mini CC. So mini CC also basically a must. You don't got to do anything. You can just copy my profile. I've went through all of these add-ons and made pretty good profiles for them. You can adjust some things if you want. But anyways, the arena frame that I'm using is S Arena, and S Arena just means when you load into Arena, you're going to get this on your screen. This is Arena 1, this is Arena 2, this is Arena 3, along with DRs and cast bars and trinket and racial tracking as well. So same thing here, you can just copy my profile and you'll be good. If we go to mini CC, you can see how it lines up pretty nicely here if you use both of the profiles at the same time. If you don't want to use S Arena, you can also use Gladius, but I wouldn't recommend using any other than that. So I think that's all the super, super big ones for Arena. You also can have Mini CE. What Mini CE does is it basically adds numbers to your abilities. So you can see here, it just gives you numbers on your things. And if you don't have the WoW show numbers for cooldowns activated, then it'll show up here as well. So that add-on is pretty nice. To go into Battleground add-ons, the biggest one by far that you're going to want if you're a BG player is you're going to want to use Battleground enemies. So I'll sort it for Blitz here. What this is going to do, just like S-Arena, is it's going to give you frames of the enemy players and their specs so that you can just click the frame and you'll know who has what, and you can see flags and stuff. You can see when they're dying. You can see if they're next to you, if the frame loads in. This is big must, especially for Rogue and Blitz, because there's a lot of times where you're going to be sitting a node, and what you want to be doing is you want to be clicking through your BGE frames to see where everyone is, and maybe there's no one at their node from you clicking it, and then you run to the node and take it. So that's the big must for BGs. These other ones are nice too. What auto body res is going to do is if you die by a graveyard, so if this is the graveyard and I die right here, my character's dead on the floor right here, and I revive over here, this is in range of the resurrection, and it's going to, as soon as I click release spirit, it's going to automatically res me before the enemy player can click my insignia off, so I can't body res, is what that's called. Capping is very nice too. Capping and Battleground win conditions are basically strategy. Capping, what capping is going to do is it will show you a bar up here, and this will tell you when bases are capped over. This will tell you when the flag on FC maps is going to respawn. It's going to give you a lot of nice information, so I'd recommend that one as well. And then Battleground win conditions, what this is going to do is is there a test mode? Maybe there's a test mode. Okay, yeah, so what this add-on is going to do is it's going to give you something on the side of your screen, and it's going to tell you if you win or if you're going to lose with the amount of bases you currently have. So this add-on is very nice as well. It's good for those situations where, let's say you have one base and the enemy has 3 bases, but you're 500 points ahead of them. Are you going to win or not? Too hard to tell. This add-on tells you. So those are going to be the BG add-ons. I would recommend just downloading all of these. They're pretty useful, but we also have some advanced stuff here. Frame sort, what this is going to do is, before I go over all of these, just real quick, this is bare minimum. You really don't need any of these. If I was going to recommend getting any of these, I would recommend frame sort, dynamic macros, and reporter for BGs, but this is like, this is extra stuff here. Anyway, so what frame sort is going to do is, if you're in Arena, it's just going to sort your frames in the same way permanently. So you can have healer number 1, you could have yourself as number 1, you could have healer number 2, and it's literally sorting your frames. That's all it is. Advanced interface options, there's a lot of settings in here. Like, for example, a very important one, which is lag tolerance. I get many questions on this as well. You can adjust this with this add-on, you can adjust your camera, you can adjust floating combat text, and you can browse the CVAR if you know what you're doing here. So that add-on is pretty good as well. Shackled, what this is going to do is this is basically Omnibar for CC.
Trap soon.
So you can see here, you can even have audio for it, but I don't use the audio. You can just track specific CC down here, whatever you want, and this will only track if the CC is used on you, but it is accurate, and very nice tool to have. Dynamic macros, what this is going to do is you're going to get a page here on your add-ons, and you can see I already have some things in here. And this is really good for solo shuffle, like very good for solo shuffle, but I like it for normal 3s as well, and 2s. Basically, what this does is you can make an add-on, step DPS, for example, step healer, for example. I have step DPS on T and step healer on shift T. Doesn't matter what game mode I'm in, what bracket I'm in, who I'm playing with, the add-on will always be going onto my healer in this case. So there's ways to make this add-on, but it's a bit advanced. If you do get this add-on, I believe in the description on CurseForge is it will give you the format that you would need to do to make these add-ons. But It's very nice. I just press T, steps to my DPS, no matter what bracket I'm in, no matter if I'm solo shuffle round. Basically, I don't have to swap my names around because I have this macro. Move any, self-explanatory. Move anything, very self-explanatory. Mini overshields. These mini add-ons are all very nice. Mini tab target, we'll do that first, it's easy. It makes it so when you tab target, when you're in a PvP instance, your tab target will be re-keybinded to, maybe I can find it real quick, targeting, tab. So you can see here, my tab is on target nearest enemy. When I'm in a PvP instance, it's going to do target enemy player, wherever that is here. Target nearest enemy player. So it's going to get re-keybounded to here when I'm in a PvP instance. Very nice. Many overshields just shows on their frame, and I believe their nameplate as well. If they have a cocoon on them, you're going to see it over the thing. Pretty nice. Mini press release just doubles your key presses. But this is like highly advanced. I would not recommend using this unless you know what you're doing. Mini combat notifier. Tells you when you get in combat. And tells you when you leave combat. Alright, so that's going to be it for add-ons, guys. Now we're going to get into gearing. So for the people that just want a quick rundown on gear, what you're going to do is you're going to get enough haste for 6.5 second Shadow Dance, because haste now scales with your Shadow Dance duration. So you're going to get enough haste for 6.5 seconds, which in Season 1 is your 4-set plus Insignia Trinket. And then after that, you're going to shoot for 20% verse and rest mastery. In Blitz, you can go for some more verse, especially if it's like a 1v1 map. If you think you're going to be 1v1ing someone, some more verse is okay, but very, very unnecessary. I never do this. Might be okay. But yeah, that's gearing TLDR right there. For your embellishment and your enchant, you're just going to use the Hunt's embellishment. Arcano Weave is still okay. It's slightly worse than the Hunt's embellishment, but the Hunt's embellishment is going to give you a ton of mastery, basically permanently. Has way more uptime than Arcano Weave. And then you're going to want to use one of each enchant on your daggers. So you can see here on my weapon, I have Arcane Mastery. And then here, I have Acuity of the Rendorai. The reason for this is you just get more uptime on your stats. So any one-hand, it doesn't even have to be a rogue, any dual-wielding class should have one of each enchant on for more uptime. Alright, so we're going to have a lot of information here. Because I want to have this guide be advanced as well. So I'm not going to go over everything on the slides. You can pause to read it, or you can click on the slideshow in the description and read it yourself. But yeah, so to get into it, like I said before, haste buffs Shadow Dance duration in this expansion, and you have a chart here of the actual breakpoints that you can go for. So just to quickly go over it, do I have it on the next page? Yeah, I do. If you look at the chart here, what do you notice, right? You see for the first margin of an extra global in dance, you need 98 haste, right? And for the second margin, you need 600 haste, right? 587. This is a very, very, very big gap of haste. And what does this mean? It means the first breakpoint to get an extra global on dance is extremely free. You can just get 98 haste minimum. There's reasons later of why you want more haste, which I'll go into later. But to also explain why it's so free, it's because dance has a slight delay on it. So you would think to yourself, right? Like, dance is 6 seconds baseline. How does getting 90 haste for an extra 0.2 seconds on my dance give me an entire extra global, right? The reason behind this is there's delay when you shadow dance by like 0.2 seconds, I believe. And this first breakpoint gets you past that. So the difference is you're going from 6.2 seconds, right? And then for your next global, you need 7.2 seconds. So you go from 6 to 6.2, first global, and then for your second global, you would have to go from 6.2 to 7.2. So that's why the gap is so big in that, and that's why we're only going to be shooting for the first gap for now. I get a lot of questions about if we're going to shoot for it in later seasons or maybe even expansions, but for now, we're just going to stick to the first breakpoint. Maybe this will change eventually, but yeah. Right now, basically, very hard to justify trying to get the second margin of haste. You just want to get your, you want to get minimum 98 haste at the minimum. So now we're gonna talk about why you should go for more haste than that. There's 2 reasons for it. So we already know that 6.2 seconds on your dance gets you your first global, right? That's how you get your first extra global, is if your dance is longer than 6.2 seconds. But in the Trickster tree of Sub-Rogue, there's this talent right here, Coup de Grace, and what this this functions weird right now with the Rogue. It's designed weird, I should say. It might even be a bug, I'm not sure, but this ability has a 1.2 second global cooldown, whereas every other Rogue ability is 1 second GCD. So this is a problem because obviously we're an energy class. All energy classes have 1 second globals, and this can really mess with your rotation on dance, since you want 1 second between each stun, since your stuns are like 4 seconds or 2 seconds or 5 seconds, right? But what does this mean, right? It means that you don't want exactly 6.2% or 6.2 seconds on your dance. You want 6.4 seconds, because the delay on Coup is 1.2 seconds, 20% more of a global. So you want to go to 6.4 seconds on your dance, so that if you have a dance with a Coup, you will still end up getting that extra global. So, that was a lot. I hope that makes sense. I have some more information on the slides that you could read. The reason that I specifically am at 6.5 seconds, I might actually up this in the future, to be honest. I'm not sure. But the reason I'm at 6.5 is to have some extra room for error, or for a reaction time. If I'm trying to sap someone, or if I think they're going to drop combat in the next 0.1 seconds, I get that extra 0.1 second of time to have that decision. Or obviously micro CC as well. All right, so now, guys, we are going to do the talents. We're going to do the talents. So, Sub-Rogue talents, this is going to all change next season, by the way. I might actually update the slide and make a new guide. If you would be interested in that, let me know. But for now, this season, if we look at the picture here, we have the yellow talents are going to be talents you can swap. You don't want to... It doesn't matter. You can play whatever you want. And then the green talent is going to be, you're going to drop one of them for Blitz. So in this case, what the picture is saying here is this talent and this talent are swappable in Arena. You can play either one. I prefer Perforated. They're both very similar value, to be honest. If you want to get luckier, Weapon Master will have a higher top end. But Perforated will be more consistent, basically. But it's very minor, so I just go for Perforated. But in Blitz, what you're going to want to do, you right-click off Perforated or Weapon Master, you go First Dance every single time. This talent gets insane value in Blitz because you're out of combat constantly, right? And you can just extend your dance by an extreme amount throughout a game. You just get so much extra duration on dance by speccing into this talent. For the left side, the only real talents you can drop is you can drop Shiv, and then in Blitz you are going to want to go Unbreakable Stride. Just reduce the duration of slows on you. Pretty nice. And then you can go for any of these other talents. It doesn't matter too much. You probably just go for Nimble Fingers. And then in Arena, you can drop this and go Iron Stomach. Or if you have a Frost Mage on your team, you can go Mind Numbing Poison. Or, I don't have this here. I wouldn't recommend dropping into Short Crippling, but you could even do that to get... You could do something like this. Point is, doesn't matter that much as long as you have the core build is all the same stuff, which should look something like this. So, yeah, I just went over that. Now we're going to go over PvP talents real quick. You're going to play Bomb and Feint talent in every single bracket. This talent right here is probably the best defensive talent in the game. What this is going to make it is Feint is off global, right? If I mouse over my Feint here, you can read it. Damage taken from area of effect attacks reduced by 40% and all other attacks reduced by 20%. What this talent is going to do is it's going to make it so the second part, the 20%, is going to be 60% when you are stunned. So you can basically just press Feint rotationally, honestly, and sometimes you'll just catch a stun. And if you feint a stun and you have decent HP, you are not going to die in the stun. It's very, very, very disgusting. Smoke Bomb is self-explanatory. You just want to... You have a Smoke Bomb. Very good. So for the other talents, I've crossed out some of them here. You'll never play Thieves Bargain, never Dag in the Dark, never Maneuverability, never Control as King. The times where you'll play the other ones, so this would be your third honor talent. We'll start with Silhouette. Silhouette is very insane because I'll showcase it right here. I just stepped one time, right? 2 times, 3 times, 4 times, 5th is coming right up, 5 times. I just shadow stepped 5 times in a row. This is really, really broken in Blitz, which I'll go into talent selection later for BG Blitz, but this is disgusting in Blitz. Play it on most maps probably. In Arena, it's very, very, very strong if your teammates are basically not kill targets and you're the only one that is going to die in the game. This is really strong because obviously you can just jump between your teammates over and over, step to this guy, step to this guy, step back over here, and you also get the move speed from shadow stepping as well. So the efficiency you get from playing this talent adds up so much. Very, very disgusting. Death from above, it's okay. I'd say the problem with Death from Above is it's kind of like a worse version of Silhouette. It's like you get more mobility from it, but you should probably just play Silhouette. There's not much room to play it. I think it's like, it's okay in 1v1 sometimes. But yeah, there's some niche cases where I will play it, but in general, not going to play it too often. Dismantle, this is your disarm, 6-second disarm, 45-second cooldown, very, very strong talent, and you're going to play this into these classes right here. So I get a lot of questions about why I don't play disarm into Rets or, you know, something like that. The reason why is they can press their toolkit while disarmed, so it doesn't matter. And same with Windwalker monks as well. So you want to disarm into these classes only, and Survival Hunter is arguable. You do not have to play disarm in a Survival Hunter, but all of these other classes, you should basically always have disarm as your third talent. At a really, really high level, maybe I'll play Silhouette sometimes instead of disarm, but very, very, very rare. So now, this is basically going to be your guys' standard talent. Tricks, you don't have to play it. It's a bit frustrating to get into and set up, right? Because you need an extra keybind. You need an extra keybind to do it. But if you set up dynamic macros, you can see here I have it in my dynamic macros. Tricks DPS, I just press my button whenever I want him to do more damage, and it'll go on him. And this is just a 15% damage buff for 6 seconds on a 30-second cooldown. Does not buff your damage, just buffs your target damage. Or your friendly, whoever you cast it on, your friendly guy. You can put this in Kidney Shot if you want. Shares a cooldown. Whenever you press Kidney, it'll tricks your DPS. You could put it in Secret Tech. You could put it in Cheap Shot. You could put it in Blades. You could put it in literally all of them. You can macro it into all of them if you want. But at a really high level, I would honestly recommend having a separate keybind for tricks, as there's times where maybe you do a go without kidney, right? And your kidney isn't able to, you don't tricks your guy because you don't have kidney, for example. But tricks is very solid. You'll never play it in Blitz, though. Never, ever in Blitz. So the last talent that I'm going to go over is Distracting Mirage. This talent is pretty underrated. It sounds kind of useless at first, but it's basically a Blitz-only talent. So it sounds useless because this is useless in Arena. In Blitz, though, this is pretty good. You can cast Distract in Stealth, right? I wasn't in Stealth there, but you can cast Distract in Stealth. The clone doesn't actually matter. The teleport that you get from it doesn't matter most times. There's some cool stuff you can do with it, but most times it doesn't matter. The reason, or the times that it does matter, I should say, is when you are fighting a Stealth class in Blitz. You can throw Distract on them with Distracting Mirage, which I'll show in a second. And if this guy is in Stealth and I teleport to the clone, you can see I am still in Stealth, but my teleport will take him out of Stealth. So, obviously, pretty cool thing you can do for Stealth 1v1s. But the problem with this talent is a lot of times there's just something better to play, honestly, which will be like Disarm or Silhouette or something like that. But yeah, that's the PvP talents. Now I'll go over races real quick. Again, this is a lot. You can pause if you want to read it. I'll go over it quickly here. You can play whatever race you want. It's not going to be a super big difference no matter what. But overall, Orc is going to be best in every single bracket. Blood Fury, 9% damage buff. Orc stun reduction racial, which I'll show right here. Hardiness. This, if you're playing a rogue 1v1 in Blitz, this can completely decide the 1v1, literally by just being an Orc. It's very, very silly. High Mountain is underrated. You get a 2 to 5% damage reduction, depending on the class you're fighting. And it's even been bugged in the past to be even more broken. It might even still be bugged now. There's not too much information on this, but High Mountain is pretty underrated. Human is also very good on Sub-Rogue. You get to trinket every 90 seconds with Human instead of every 2 minutes, like you can see here, because you have Will to Survive, which is a 3-minute cooldown racial, but it shares a 90-second overlap with your actual trinket. So Human is pretty underrated. Human would probably be the best race if Orc didn't exist. Probably. Night Elf is very, very, very overrated on Sub-Rogue. You just don't need Shadow Meld. You haven't needed Shadow Meld for a few years now on Sub-Rogue. It can be good in some matchups in threes, but it's not actually for Subterfuge. It's to get your teleport Shadow Strike. So you can see when you vanish or when you Shadow Strike from stealth, it'll teleport you. It's like a mobility thing, kind of. You can also use it. It's also good to like meld Coil or Chaos Bolts like I have here. The last race I'm going to mention is Dark Iron. Dark Iron is really, really, really broken, actually. It goes for more than just Rogue. This thing, if you press Fireblood on a full row of dots, you're getting like 600 main stat, I'm pretty sure. And you can see that's like over 1/4 of the main stat I have. It might even be more than that, honestly. Point is, it's very, very disgusting. You get like 20 to 30% more damage. And this can be super matchup dependent, obviously. But in the matchups it's good in, it's really, really, really broken in. Alright, so now we're going to go over Opener. If you guys know me, you know my stream. You know I don't like talking about openers that much because of what I have written here. Opener changes so much constantly. Sub-Rogue is a very, you want to adjust what you're doing constantly, right? So Opener, I'll still put down a basic Opener here, but not going to go too in-depth with it. You're going to open with Cheap Shot, you're going to wait your global cooldown, and then you're going to Blades, Dance, Secret Tech, Shadow Strike, Eviscerate, Re-Cheap Shot, Eviscerate is what you're going to do. And, again, this will change a lot of times, but no matter what opener you're doing, you'll basically always want to Secret Tech first in your rotation if you can. Obviously, if you're going to break CC or something, you should maybe move it to, like, over here and then Eviscerate first, or even on the last spender. But normally, regardless of what your opener, you want to press Secret Tech first. The reasoning behind this is you want to get it on cooldown. It's your hardest hitting ability. And you can see here, which I'll go into more later, it also gives you Shadow Technique stacks. So you can see here, I got 2 Shadow Technique stacks here. We'll go into more of that later. Anyways, basic opener. I guess I can showcase it real quick with my tech. So again, you're going to, this is from Stealth, by the way. If you're not from Stealth, then you're just going to have to dance earlier, but you should still wait to Blades until this global. So you're going to Cheap Shot, wait your global, Blades, Dance, Tech, Shadow Strike, Eviscerate, Re-Cheap Shot, Eviscerate, and then you can just keep going until your dance is over. But again, this changes constantly. Like, actually completely depends on the game and what you're doing. Okay, so to explain, go advance a little bit. I had another video on this, so I'm not going to go too in-depth, but basically you get these things called Shadow Techniques when you auto-attack. You can see here, it's going up. I have it tracked right here. 8, 9, and this will just stack up, and what this is, so Backstab gives me 1 combo point. You'll see when I press Backstab, it spends my Shadow Techniques to fill my combo points, basically. The reason this is important is because if we read the first part, damaging attacks that expend Shadow Techniques to generate combo points have a chance per stack expended to create a Shadow clone that it repeats the attack for 50% damage of Shadow. Why does this matter? Matters because of the rank 3 one. So you can see with rank 3, if after attacks that generate combo points, if 5 or more stacks of Shadow Techniques remain, your next damaging finisher move will expend them to generate combo points up until the max. So basically, that means it works on finishers. So you can see here, this is the buff you get when you use finishers. And you can see when I spend it, it expends my Shadow Techniques. And what else does it do? It's on a Q, so I don't want to do it on a Q because it hits multiple times. I'll just show you guys again real quick. So I'm going to get the buff up here. I got the buff right here. And now I'm going to Eviscerate. What happened right there? Alright, you guys see that? Eviscerate hit... Let's see... I guess it's not showing up here. But anyways, the number will basically be the same. You can see a shadow hit of Eviscerate right here. You just get an extra hit. of your finisher, which is really good. This is currently bugged or not working as intended with Secret Technique. So Secret Technique, you can see here, 1 tick of damage, 2 tick of damage, 3 ticks of damage. Tech hits 3 times. It's bugged. It'll only work on the first tick, but it's still good to do on tech because you want to tech first anyways. What does this mean? I just said a lot of stuff. What does it mean, right? It means you can manipulate the shadow techniques because remember, it procs off of builders, right? You don't want it to proc off builders most of the time. So what you can do is you can, for example, do what I'm going to show you right here. You can stack it to 5 because it's 5 or more, right? So now, if I have a full combo point bar and I consume my shadow techniques with a builder, it will give me the buff since my combo points are already filled, right? But I don't have full combo points. How am I supposed to proc it if I don't have combo points? We have pre-med, right? So right here, after entering Stealth, Vanish, or Shadow Dance, your next combo point generating ability generates full combo points. So my combo points are already full, basically, right? I'll show you right here. Dance, Cheap Shot. I get the buff. Now what's my next global? For example, maybe Eviscerate here. I Eviscerate, and what happened there, right? I got the clone to proc. And I actually realized why the clone didn't proc before. We should see it in this one. Yeah, you can see right here. So we have 3 hits of Eviscerate right here. One of them is the shadow damage. One of them is the find weakness, Eviscerate. So basically, what I mean by that is you can manipulate it if you have more than 5 shadow techniques before you dance, and you can do this by just auto-attacking people. So I can just spend some of them right here. So if I'm doing a go, or if let's say they're on DR, if I'm just waiting on DR, I don't have to do anything right now. I can just auto-attack this guy. This should be way faster because you'll have Slice and Dice up, but can just kind of chill for a second, wait till 5. All right, I got 5. Now maybe I'll Kidney the Healer right here. Kidney Healer right here with my combo points, and then I'll Step Cheap Shot. Can't Cheap Shot that guy, but I'll Step Cheap Shot him, and then I'll get the buff instantly with my Cheap Shot and pre-med. Yeah, so again, you'll also get stacks on your shadow techniques from Secret Tech. But big thing is you want to kind of be aware, and if you can go into a go with 5 shadow techniques, it is very, very good to do. But this is very advanced stuff. You don't have to be playing this way at all. There's even like rank 1 rogues that have no idea what I'm talking about with this stuff. But if you do consistently pay attention to this and you're aware of it, you will just be doing more damage in your goes, is the point. All right, so now for some more advanced stuff, I'm going to attempt to teach something called downtime. Sub-rogue downtime. I have a graph here. So this is your 6-second dance go with 2 cheap shots. 6 seconds, right? Now you have dance on cooldown. Your target is on DR. That is officially downtime as soon as you're in that position, right? And I'm going to talk more about this in a bit, but basically the best rogues in the game are the most efficient players during their downtime. This can look like multiple things. It can look like defensive play. It can look like setting up your next go. It can look like positioning. It can be all at once sometimes. But the 6-second go is the easiest thing to learn. Knowing how to play around the downtime is what's very hard. And being efficient around minimizing your downtime as well. Yeah, so I get many questions on cross CC and how to set up goes. There's a lot of text here, by the way, but TLDR it. You can pause if you want. You want to stun people off DR. You want to stun specifically DPS. You especially want to stun DPS off DR. And the reason behind this is because you enable your teammates by doing this, right? Let's say you're playing Rogue Mage Druid, for example, right? You have casted Polymorph and you have casted Cyclone, right? If the DPS are in stuns more often, you are enabling your team to generate more momentum by getting your casted CC off for free, right? And if you have more momentum because you're stunning and you're casting Sheeps and you're casting Cyclones, what does that enable your teammates to do, right? It enables them to cast even more Sheeps and more Cyclones on the entire enemy team. So a lot of times I see sub-rogues, they'll try to CC the whole team by themselves. They'll wait 25 seconds to get a kidney shot and wait to do their go, and then they'll kidney the healer, step cheap shot DPS, cheap shot the other guy. This is not, you do not want to play this way. You want to, the reason I think people play this way is because they'll watch really high-rated rogues and teams, and these teams, it looks like they're doing goes, right? The reason it looks like they're doing goes is because it's top-caliber players, and they're being as efficient as possible during the downtime, right? So it's going to just look like goes, but that's not actually what's happening most of the time. It's kind of all happening off of one thing, and that thing is by just going as much as you can and sending CC as much as possible. So basically, on your downtime, you want to do what is going to help you get the most pressure during your window, your next go. And a quick example of this is if these two are both on stun DR, right? Or that guy can't be stunned. Let's say this guy and this guy's on stun DR, right? This is the guy I want to kill, right? They're on stun DR for 10 seconds. What am I doing sitting on this guy, right? Why would I sit on this guy? I'm going to walk over to this guy, and now DRs are off, and then I kidney this guy, and I use one shadow step here, and then I begin my go like that, right? The reason you don't want to stand on this guy, why would you not want to stand on this guy, right? Why does it matter? The reason it matters is because of your mobility usage, right? Which is going to be a big problem if you are going more consistently. Your mobility is going to be a huge problem. So basically, being efficient with your mobility on your downtime looks like this. You don't want to shadow step kidney this guy and then shadow step cheap shot back to this guy. This is a very, very, very awkward position to be in and to play from. You don't want to use, most of the time, you do not want to use both of your shadow steps on the same go. And this is just one of the ways of avoiding that, right? Both on DR, I'm just going to walk over here, prepare the DRs for this guy. I know I want to CC the healer first. Maybe even it's a blind or a gouge. It's fine. We're going to go with this, and then we're going to use our step to get back to the original guy. So that's one of the small things. Well, actually, it seems small, but it really adds up. It really adds up throughout a game, right? And you want to get in the habit of doing things like that and being wary of your time sitting on this guy, auto-attacking him is useless compared to your time that you could be spending auto-attacking this guy, right? And getting prepared for your go. So I'm hoping that makes sense, but mobility is a big usage on a big thing that you want to be wary of on Sub-Rogue, and this is a very, very important thing to be thinking about. So again, this is another downtime graph, but instead of the 14 seconds that we had here, 14 plus seconds, this is going to be a 21-second gap of downtime, right? Just to illustrate it, give you guys an example here. So this person in this graph, instead of waiting 16 seconds on their DRs, is waiting an extra 5 seconds, right? It's 16-second downtime versus 21-second downtime. This player, whoever is doing this, is waiting an extra 5 seconds to set up this perfect go, right? What is the problem with this? The problem with this is, even though it seems like a small window that you're just waiting, trying to get the perfect go, right? You're missing so much efficiency. Because remember, right now, DRs are 16 seconds. This will still apply next patch, but right now, DRs are 16 seconds. This guy, just by waiting 5 seconds between each go, misses basically an entire DR worth of time to be doing a go and shutting down people and having them in crowd control, right? So you're missing so much efficiency, and you're just losing out on so much pressure by trying to wait like this. It's very, very bad in many matchups. You just want to be sending your damage and your CC basically as it comes off DR. Okay, so now this is a different fundamental that I'm going to attempt to teach here. There's a lot of times in a game where your priority of CC changes, right? So I just used the example of this is the healer, this is a DPS, and what did I do? I kidneyed the healer, and then I step cheap shotted the DPS, right? This is obviously very basic, but there's a lot of times where you don't want to be doing this, and you need to CC a DPS before you can do this. So, I'm going to use Turbo as an example here. Let's compare these classes, right? What does a Warrior have? Warrior is the most peeling in terms of pure disruption into Sub-Rogue on a very low cooldown. Intervene, disarm, range Stormbolt as Fear, it even has Shockwave, right? What does Shaman have? What can the Enhanced Shaman do to stop you? He can Earth Grab you. maybe he can do a dispellable cap stun on you. Do you guys see where I'm going with this? So basically, what you want to be doing first is, even if you're going the shaman, let's use the same example again. Let's say this is they'll be closer. Let's say this is a warrior and this is a shaman, right? If I'm going the shaman, I'm going to kidney the warrior, and then I don't even have to stun the shaman yet, right? I can just attack the shaman. It's completely fine. Maybe I stun him now as my dance is ending, and then I redance and do an actual rotation on him here. But the point is, the shaman is not what matters here. The shaman has peeling for your casters, not for you, right? So the priority of our CC in this matchup is going to be, we need to shut down the warrior first before the shaman and even the healer, right? Because the warrior is going to be the one that stops our go. So there's many times where, for example, maybe you'll do a kidney on healer, right? We can go back to that other situation from before. We'll kidney healer. This is kill target, shaman. We're not going to stun the shaman. They'll be closer again, but you're going to stun the warrior first and then just attack the shaman and do damage to him, right? There's multiple reasons this matters other than just the way that people can shut you down and shut your goes down and peel you, right? Like, for example, in Enhanced Shaman's case specifically, their cooldowns will basically always be pressed at a low HP, right? And they're also, you're kind of going to have to get their cooldowns anyways, because they're a very tanky class, and they have an automatic heal with Nature's Guardian when they get to low HP. So you don't have to kill this class in a stun. You literally don't have to. What do you need to kill the shaman? You need CC on the warrior and CC on the healer to kill the shaman. The shaman, he can't do anything to help himself, you know? These cooldowns you are going to get eventually anyways, right? You want to play a consistent game where you're just getting these cooldowns and you're stopping the variance of your goes from the peels of a class like a warrior, for example. This is just one example of a matchup, but I really want you guys to try and think about some matchups where it might look something like this. And there's even multiple games where things can look like this. Like, what's an example? Like, maybe I'm trying example. Maybe I'm playing versus a rogue boomy, for example, right? Let's say the boomy has no scan, he has no peels, he has no nothing, right? I can just CC the rogue, and then I can just dance the boomy without stunning him. You should probably still stun him if you can, but the point is the game isn't so simple on sub rogue to where you have to just be going someone in stuns all the time. You don't have to be doing goes and stuns. You can generate pressure, and you can have some nuance in the way that you CC on sub rogue. That's what I'm trying to get across with this example right here. And I'm hoping that does get across, because this is something a lot of sub rogues don't understand. Okay, so I'll leave it here. I think this is everything I just said. Yeah, so basically what I just said is consistent counterplay to the classes that will peel you on your go, basically. All right, so now for the next segment, I'm going to go over comps real quick, not just for this season, but for the future of what's generally viable, what's good on sub rogue, what's bad on sub rogue. To start with Rogue Mage, this is kind of the main comp on Rogue. It's been this way for a while. Priest version and Druid version are going to generally be viable. In the times I've played, they've basically always been good. One or maybe both of these have always been good. The reason behind this is these classes just synergize too well, honestly. So they all work together just super, super well. Prez Evoker, RM Prez, this comp is viable sometimes. It's pretty good right now, actually, but it kind of depends on how fast the meta is and how good Prez Evoker is to be good. It's not like, basically for RM Prez to be good, it doesn't really have much to do with the Rogue and the Mage. It has more so to do with how good Prez Evoker is. And RM Pal has been very, very strong in the past, but I wouldn't say it's viable as often as Priest or Druid. So for some other comps, Windwalker Rogue, super underrated, but as Windwalker Rogue, you need to be playing in a very free-flowing type of way. You do a lot of damage as this comp. You're playing double melee. Sometimes you have to run away and kite them. Sometimes you just need to kidney the warrior and do damage to the shaman. Shaman cannot fight back versus this type of damage. There's an example right there. Enhanced Rogue, kind of same thing as Windwalker Rogue. It's a bit easier, but you have less one-shot potential because the Shaman, it's like a more stable version of Windwalker Rogue to me. You have a Shaman with a ranged kick, you have Tremor, you have Ground, stuff like that. Ret Rogue is pretty underrated, but it's not viable too often, honestly. It's very, kind of depends on how broken Ret is, I would say, but hasn't been very good lately. Devour Sub-Rogue is viable. It's very good right now, actually. It's a new comp, obviously, the Devour, but I expect it to stay good in the future, honestly. I think both those classes play pretty well together. Boomy Rogue is also generally pretty viable. Depends on how good Boomkin is for the most part in terms of burst damage, but Boomkin and Sub-Rogue specifically have a really good synergy together, because what was I talking about earlier, right? You stun people constantly, enables your team to CC more. You know, same thing with Warlock. It's a bit slower. You kind of play that comp a bit slower than you would like Rogue Boomy, for example, but you're very strong defensively as that comp because your lock can get away really easily, right? And then you also have Rogue Peeling. Rogue SP is also generally pretty good, but has some very, very disgusting matchups like Warrior Cleaves specifically, where they can just beat on the Shadow Priest, and obviously Warrior's good into Rogues as well. Rogue DK is super underrated. I think Rogue DK is insane right now, actually. Specifically Unholy. I'm not too sure about Frost. It's probably okay, but Rogue Unholy DK. Unholy DK does most of the time. Unholy does the most disgusting damage of like any class. And what does Unholy DK have that Sub-Rogue doesn't, right? Unholy DK has a silence. So you can do a go on someone, silence them out, do some disgusting damage with that. Thug, similar position to Ret Rogue, is only viable sometimes. Kind of depends on the meta and the pacing and stuff. Alright, so now, I'm going to go over macros real quick. Macros are a preference, so I'm not going to go over all of them. If you guys really want a macro video, I guess I could make it, but there's only a couple like required macros. So here we have a Blitz macro, blitzsap. What this is going to do is it's going to shadowstep and sap any enemy player near you. This is very, very useful for 1v1ing like rogues and ferals and stuff like that. And it's very useful for when you have the eye buff. So it's not going to look exactly the same here, but I'll showcase it. I guess it won't even work on this because these aren't players. But you can kind of see it's just going crazy. You can even see my keybinds a little bit here. It's trying to shadowstep. There's nothing to shadowstep, so it's not gonna. And it's also, it can't sap because it's trying to sap an enemy player, but that is what it would be doing here. So you can walk around in stealth and just spam this macro, or if you pick up the eyes in Blitz, you walk here, you pick up the eyes, you get the eye debuff, you just spam the macro. If a rogue's sitting in stealth over here, you face him, and it's just instantly going to sap him. It's very, very OP, honestly. This macro is it's the same thing, basically, without Shadow Step. So this one will be used more so in Arena when you're just trying to search for rogues. Basically the exact same thing. You could use it in Blitz as well if you really wanted to, if you have the room for it. But this macro, very broken in Blitz. Very, very, very OP. The last macro, I believe, that I would generally recommend every rogue should be using is a stealth macro. Let me find it here. Did I miss it? Oh, it's right here. So what this is going to do is it's going to stop your attack. So you can see here, auto-attacking, stops my attack, right? And you can also see there's a line below it where it's going to cancel my Shadow Dance if I'm out of combat. Why is it going to do that? Because you can't dance. You can't stealth if you have dance up. So you can see right now I'm out of combat. Press dance. It's not going to let me stealth. But if you have the macro, you press it, it'll cancel your dance. You press it again, you'll go in stealth. Only if you're out of combat, so you don't cancel your dance randomly. The last line, the exclamation point here, what this is going to do is it's going to mean if you spam the macro on your stealth bar, it's not going to take you out of stealth. So you're going to stay locked in stealth. So why is this macro good? This macro is really good because if you get CC'd for like 4 seconds or something, you just get in the habit of just spamming the macro, right? So, like, let's say I'm auto-attacking this guy, doing damage, I get CC'd. Okay, I'm gonna press my macro. CC ends, auto-attack doesn't go off. CC ends now, auto-attack doesn't go off. 2 seconds, boom, out of combat. Immediately re-stealth, because I'm just in the habit of pressing it. So, very, very, very useful macro. You can just sneak a lot of random re-stealths with this to, you know, get an extra Shadow Strike or Cheap Shot or something, but very, very, very useful. Would recommend using this for sure. For some extra macros, I'm just going to go over what I use real quick. I have Arena 1, 2, 3 Sap, Arena 1, 2, 3 Blind, and Arena 1, 2, 3 Cheap Shot for my Arena macros. The way you make an Arena macro is you do, where's my Cheap Shot? You can do it in a few ways. This is what I have. You put show tooltip, cast target equals Arena 1, or you can do what I have here, cast at Arena 1, and then you put the ability name of the macro you want, or of the ability you want to use. And what does Arena 1 mean? Arena 1 means your arena frames. So right here, Arena 1, Arena 2, Arena 3. Very simple. So for the next macros I use, I have Focus Cheap Shot, Focus Kidney, Focus Blind, Focus Step, Focus Kick, Focus Gouge, Focus Disarm. What is Focus? Focus is you right-click this guy, set Focus. Now you have an extra frame, and this guy, this is my Focus frame. If I press Focus Cheap Shot, it goes on him. Focus Kidney goes on him. Focus Gouge goes on him, and so on. There's a few ways you can get this. You can have a keybind to set focus. I have mine on shift spacebar. You can have a mouse over focus macro, which I'll go over here in a second. You can see here I'm swapping my focus around over and over. Can even cancel it. Or you can, some people if you right click your arena frames, it'll also set a focus. I also have mouse over shadow step. So I'll cancel all targets. Mouse over shadow step, really good with silhouette in Blitz. You can just mouse over shadow step someone without targeting or focusing them. I have mouse over focus, which this is the macro here. This is all it is, /focus at mouse over. I have step DPS and step healer, which I went over earlier. Those are some of the macros I use, not everything, but in general, very, very preference. You don't need all of these. You don't need half of these. You don't even need a third of these. I'd recommend just using what's comfortable for you and what you feel like doing. All right, so this is it with the arena segment. I'm going to be doing Blitz right after this. So I just want to recap real quick because I just talked a lot, and there's a lot of text on the screen, and there's a lot of images. What am I saying, right? What am I saying with all of this? The way you want to play Sub-Rogue is you don't want to look at it as a go class, even though that's obviously what it is. You're obviously doing goes. Every dance, every 20 seconds for your 6-second window or your kidney window or whatever, you're setting up for these windows, right? This isn't exactly what it is, though. You want to try and see Sub-Rogue as more of a pressure and momentum generator class and a team enabler class. This is what I would recommend for Sub-Rogue. And again, the way you do this is by you consistently set up your team, you send your DRs over and over and over as soon as they're off. If you can get the good go in between your DRs, you can definitely wait to do that for like a second or so. But like, you really, really don't want to be sitting on your DRs unless you know that you are absolutely going to win if this next go is perfect. Just send your stuns, guys, do damage to people, enable your team, get as much momentum as possible, and you don't gotta win the game every go. It's okay. Try to look at the game as a whole and what's happening as a whole. Are you winning by just CCing the DPS over and over? Because in most cases, it's yes, you are winning if you just slow the game down and enable your team. So that's, in my opinion, how you should play Sub-Rogue. This is how I've been playing it for years. Very, very strong playstyle, and I would recommend trying to build some of these habits and getting rid of the unhealthy habits of how does my team set up CC? How do we do this? We just die so quickly. You die because you're trying to set up the CC. We're thinking way too hard. We just got to CC people. We got to put them on DR, and we got to do damage to them. All right, so now I'm going to go over Blitz maps. Pretty brief strategy for all of them. I kind of want to keep this segment a bit quick. If you guys want another Blitz video, I could totally make a separate one with some Blitz things. But for now, I'm just going to go over maps real quick in paints. So this is Warsaw Gulch. Your job on this map in Blitz well, actually, I guess I'll go over overall strategy real quick. So you'll have 8 people, right? We can do red for Horde and blue for Alliance for all of these pictures. You have 8 people on your team, right? A strategy is going to be, generally, you have a healer carry the flag, ideally a Prez Evoker, but normally a healer will carry the flag, or a tank if you have a tank in your lobby. You'll have 3 to 4 people on defense. So 1, 2, 3, 4. I'll zoom in a little bit here. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'll use 4 for this example. 4 people on defense protecting the FC, and then you'll have 4 people on offense going to attack the enemy FC, right? So what is your job as a rogue? Your job as a rogue in these games is to, most of the time, play offense. Most of the time you're going to be offense, but in the opener, what you're going to do, let's say you have a Prez Evoker FC, right? Prez Evokers don't have stealth. So what are you going to do? Gates are going to open. You're going to run through here on your mount. You're going to dismount here, and then you're going to sprint all the way to the flag room, pick up the flag, come out, and then you're going to set up a drop with your healer, and you're going to give them the flag. After that, you are going to, so in this example, you'll probably be about here. After that, you're going to be in a position where you can immediately go offense, because you're in roughly the middle of the map, or maybe somewhere around there. Maybe the FC is next to you, but point is, you want to get the flag. Your job this is called picking the flag. You want to pick the flag for your healer, and this does happen more than just in the opener. If the game gets reset to a neutral state by either someone capping, or maybe both teams die, maybe a flag resets, your job most of the time, you're going to get the flag for your healer, stealth to the room, and you're going to go all the way to your healer. There's also some situations, like on flag maps, you should always play silhouette, and you should just spam shadow step to your teammates over and over. You can even hold the flag for a little bit longer sometimes, because Sub-Rogue has so much mobility with the flag with silhouette. But that's general game plan on FC maps. It's going to be the same thing on Twin Peaks, exact same thing. You're going to run all the way across, pick up the flag, go drop it to your healer, and then go offense most of the time. And you can also silhouette across the map, but you want to pick up the flag for your healer. Okay, so on Arathi Basin, what you're going to want to do on AB is, sorry for flashbang, you are going to, let me just screenshot the map here, 1 second. Okay, so on AB, you have, again, 8 people. General strat on AB is you have a healer. You have a healer with a spinning DPS, like a Warrior, DK, Demolock, BM Hunter at Blacksmith. And then you have your other healer with an exact same type of spinning DPS at Lumbermill. And then you're going to have the other 4 DPS are generally going to go mines. And then you're going to have 1 DPS cap farm. Since I'm making this guide for you guys, I want you to cap farm always. You're always going to cap farm. And what are you going to do when you cap farm? You are going to click your BGE, and you're going to look at where their healers are going. Because this is a conventional strat, but sometimes teams will send healer, spin DPS mines, healer, spin DPS blacksmith, right? Sometimes they'll choose to do this. What you're going to want to do in this situation is, if you're the one capping farm, you're the rogue, you want to go to the node where they don't have a healer, right? Why do you want to go to the node they don't have a healer? It's because they're sending the healer doing the unconventional strat for a reason, right? Why are they doing the unconventional strat? Maybe they have something ridiculously tanky up here. They have an enhanced shaman, a ret pala, a shadow priest. Maybe this set of DPS can actually be your healer in DPS, right? And you're basically going to lose mines. You are going to lose mines in this position. You should lose mines because it's 3 DPS versus healer DPS. And they also are doing this assuming they're going to win mines as well, right? But you can basically get the map 50-50'd and cancel out their strat instead of being in a position where you lose LM because they have DPS that can take it, and then you lose mines as well because they have an advantage there. So you're going to cap farm. You're going to click BGE, you're going to go to the node that they do not have a healer, and even though you're losing one of them, it's completely fine. It's better than losing both. It's just kind of, you want to keep the game neutral since they're doing the strat for a reason. Alright, so that's Arathi Basin right there. For the next map, we have Gilneas here. Your job on Gilneas is going to be, 1 second. Your job on Gilneas you have 8 people, right? So we'll do alliance this time. You have 8 people. You're going to have 5 of them, sometimes 6, go to Waterworks and team fight here in Waterworks. So there's going to be 6 people here. 6 people for Horde as well. We're just going to do 6 here. Oops. You're going to have 6 people. And then your job is you are going to sit the node with your float DPS, is what it's called. So you're going to have someone floating for you, and they might be here, they might be up here, they might even be 1v1ing the guy at mines or 1v2ing at mines. Sometimes there's a third person. A lot of times in higher rated games, there will be a third person, actually. But what your job is going to be on this map is most of the time you're going to want to hit mines, especially if they do not have a stealth class sitting, right? Because what does this mean? If they have no stealthies on their team, you can be right here, and you have your add-on, right? You have BGE. You can click BGE, you see a guy here, guy here, guy here. You have the rest of the team is at Waterworks. They cannot get your node. They have no one there, right? So you can just stealth all the way over to their node, and maybe you take your float DPS with you, and in this case, since they have 3 out, you would also have 3 out, and then you can do a controlled 2 versus 2 at mines, or 3 versus 3 at mines. So if you're the only stealthy on Gilneas, you do not want to sit the node and do nothing, unless you know for whatever reason your team is for sure going to win this team fight, but even then, you probably still shouldn't. You want to get active. Even if you're the one sitting the node, it's okay to leave the node. You don't have to sit at the node. It's completely fine. As long as you're aware of where people are, you don't have to be scared. Just try to click your frames and figure out where everyone is, and then you can go mess with them on the other side of the map. So in general, how my strategy on this map, what I would do is we have 6 people going here, like I said. I'm going to tell my float DPS to instantly go hit mines, right? Even if there's a rogue, because what does this mean, right? He's going to go hit my rep pally or whatever. He's going to go hit mines. He goes to mines, and there's 2 things that can happen, right? He gets the guy out. He 1v1s them, gets the base because they have no one floating. W. He wins the game on the spot. Or he starts getting 2v2'd, or 2v1'd. He starts getting 2v1'd by the Horde players here, right? So he gets 2v1'd. Maybe he dies, it's okay, but what does this mean, right? Look at the map. They have 6 people here, they have 2 people here, everyone's out of stealth. You can now leave the node. So now you can leave the node as soon as he starts getting 2 versus 1, as long as you know no one else is coming. And then you can you're at a disadvantage in the 2v2 because obviously this guy was 2v1ing for a little bit, but it at least gets you off the map, and you have the advantage of playing on their node. So playing on someone else's node is very, very favorable as a rogue. So you're going to want to try to do that a lot, and you don't really want to be sitting too much. All right. So for the next map, we have Temple. Very, very self-explanatory map. I'll just paint it, might as well, real quick. All right, so this map, super easy. You have 8 people. You have 2 people pick an orb. Generally, you have 1 healer pick an orb, and then 1 DPS pick an orb for both teams. As rogue, you're going to pick orbs a lot. As sub-rogue, basically whenever you can. Or run over here, pick up your orb, and what are you going to do? You want to generally follow your second healer around, especially if it's a Pres Evoker. So if you have a Pres Evoker holding the second orb, you're just going to follow them and do circles around the map, and you're going to peel whatever runs to you, and you're going to keep going in circles and going in circles. And on this map, Silhouette is also completely broken, especially if you have like a Pres Evoker or something mobile on your team, because you can step to the Evoker over and over and over. You can, for example, do kidney shot one guy on you, cheap shot one guy on you, your Pres has been running the whole time, you step to your Pres, and you're both gone, right? Or there'll also be people team fighting in the middle. If you're right here with the orb, or I'll continue the line here. If you're right here with the orb, there's people team fighting, obviously, all around. There's infinite stepping points, right? Can step to this guy, can go over here. Maybe there's a guy up here now getting the Zerk. You step to him. There's a lot of ways to find things like that on this map. But you're going to want to pick up orbs, and you don't want to die doing it. Silver Shard. Let me screenshot. This map is also pretty self-explanatory, to be honest. So to explain it briefly, you have 6 people go to lava. We're going to do alliance this game. I'm not going to draw a horde. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You have 5 people going to lava. This cart is going to be going this way, unless they turn the thing. But it's going to be going down here. This one goes to here, and this one goes to here at the start of the game. I'm not going to leave those, just so you guys know. What your job is, you have 3 people on off carts. So this is called lava main cart. You have 3 people on off carts. This is off cart. This is also off cart right here. So your job as a rogue, it's going to be you with Marks Hunters, Mages, sometimes Shadow Priests, Feral Druids, sometimes Demon Hunters, strong 1v1 skirmish type classes. And your job, if you are spawning Alliance on this map, your job is you are going to run and contest the first mid tag. So this is called mid. You're going to contest the mid tag from the Horde. So on this map, Alliance basically always gets first lava tag. Horde will always get first mid tag most of the time, 99% of the time. This is how it should be. You're going to skirmish in the middle tag until it caps, and then as soon as that fight is over as Alliance, you are going to go up to top. You are not going to go up to top before the mid fight is secured or lost or you die or whatever. You know, as soon as you know you're not going to get mid, that's when you're going to go top as an off card. If you're Horde on this map, you do the same thing but the opposite, so you are going to protect mid tag. You are not going to go top before mid is secured. As soon as mid is secured and you kill them, you don't have to sit the whole mid, right? If the cart is right here and you kill all of the Alliance players, 1, 2, 3, they spawn here, 15-second timer, this cart caps in less than 30 seconds. What does that mean? It means you can instantly go to top and beat them to top as they're rezzing, right? Because you'll be here, and then they'll be coming out, and they'll be, like, right here around the same time. So you have positional advantage on top. Generally, what Alliance players will also do is they will have one of the off-carders. So in this case, let's say you have a Marks Hunter. Sometimes in lower-rated lobbies, you should be doing this as a rogue, actually. You should go up here and tag. You want to tag the first tick of top. As the game starts, you get the first tick of top. Just so, let's say everyone dies over here, you get top for free, because you have 1 tick tagged on it. Another reason why you want to be up here is because there is a Zerk that spawns right here, a Zerker buff, which is 30% damage, and isn't this a nice spot for a Marks Hunter, huh? You pick up 30% damage buff, and you can shoot them from up here. Just as an example, but if you see no one else doing this, you should also be going up here, tagging top, grabbing the Zerk, jumping down, and then fighting for mid, is what you should be doing as Alliance. You do not do this as Horde. As Horde, you just want to defend the mid tag, the mid cart, and maybe sometimes if they're kind of slow coming out, you can slow them over here. So that's going to be Silver Shard. Now we have Deep Wind. I'm going to just overlay the map so I don't have to clear it. So, Deep Wind, this map is going to be very split. We're going to do Horde again. Obviously, you get the first touch. You get the first bases on your side of the map for free. You're going to have one person go and tag those at the start. And there's a lot of nuance to this map, actually. 1 second. So, you have 2 people go mid. You have 2... Okay. I'm restarting here. Just going to explain it from the start. General strat, you have 2 people, healer plus DPS at middle. You have 2 people, healer plus DPS at farm. Horde or Alliance, doesn't matter. You have 2 people, even if you're Horde, you're gonna have healer and DPS go to farm and fight at farm. You are going to have a strong 1v1 class at Quarry, Horde or Alliance, even if you're Alliance, you're gonna have a strong 1v1 class at Quarry. You're gonna have a strong 1v1 class at Shrine, even if you're Horde, gotta cross the map. And then at Ruins, you are going to have generally a 2 versus 2 of some skirmish classes. But this will vary a lot, which I'll go into later. Bot side of the map, this is the bottom side of the map. This will vary a lot in terms of placing, and sometimes the people from Ruins will win their fight really fast, and then they'll go over to Shrine and start messing with the Shrine guy. The top side of the map is not very volatile. It's pretty consistent because you have healer and DPS just fighting over here, right? So it's not super likely that they'll get the node. They will definitely get it less than the boss side. But for general strats, as a rogue, you want to be going either Quarry or you want to be going Shrine is what you want to be doing. There is times where you'll go to, like, mid, for example, and sometimes you'll also help Ruins for the same reason that Ruins will help you. Maybe you win Shrine really fast, and then you can just go to Ruins while the guy is dead or the base is capped over. at the start of the game, so I'm going to rewind all of this, undo, undo, undo. At the very start of the game, remember how I said these bases were free? Free base for Horde and Alliance, free base, free base. What is the base that's not free? This is the base that is not free. So what can you do as a rogue? Since you have 45 seconds to, because this base will cap 45 seconds, 45 seconds, 45, 45, you can pick up a Zerk here. If no one else does, normally you want like a Destralock or a Boomy or something, but if you're in lower games, you can pick up a Zerk here or here, and you can try to run mid and CC cap it immediately, whether you're Horde or Alliance. So what does this mean? It means all of these people will be sitting at their nodes, completely confused, 45 seconds doing nothing, but you'll be in a 3 versus 2 situation at mid, right? Because you are aware and you know that these bases are capped, so you don't have to be there. Alright, I think that's it for Deepwind. There's probably 2 more maps. Yeah, 2 more maps. So Eye of the Storm has changed this expansion. The way you want to play Eye of the Storm is you have 5. So normally you're going to have 5 people mid, 5 people, and then you're going to have a floater right here. This is called a floater. You're going to have strong 1v1 sitting class here, strong 1v1 sitting class here, and then it's the same for the Alliance, of course. 5. And strong sitting classes, rogue, mage, ret pally, hunters, things like that. Not a demon hunter, not a, I don't know what's worse than a demon hunter. You don't want to sit a warrior. You don't want to sit classes that are just going to get completely destroyed in 1v1s. But this map varies a lot with positioning, and the reason it varies a lot is because the mid flag is actually pretty irrelevant, and it's mostly you want to get the 3rd base. So if you have a 3rd base, the 3rd base will, even if they cap mid on cooldown, I'm pretty sure it will basically always give you more points having the 3rd base than capping mid on cooldown. So name of the game here is you want to get 3 bases, and you want to hold 3 bases, even if it means forfeiting mid or only delaying it a little bit. So if you're Alliance here and you have this base, you are no longer going to have 5 people mid. You're maybe going to have a healer DPS mid, maybe no one mid, maybe you just have a mage mid, maybe you have a hunter mid just trying to spin the flag for 1 second, but you're going to want like 7 people, maybe 8 people defending this 3 base hold that you have right here. So as a rogue at the start of the game, that's like for general strat, that is the general strat. But as a rogue, your job is going to be, if you are on, if you are at sitting Fel Reaver, for example, and these are the bases, right? At the start of the game, everyone's going to be going mid, right? You're going to have Horde going mid, Alliance going mid. If you can ghost your node as soon as possible, that is the best way to play. You can even mount across the map and do it. The reasoning why is because let's just look at the situation here, right? And this varies a lot. You have to be very aware to do this type of thing, and you have to know that you're going to have someone float for your base because your base will be ghosted, right? But you're basically forcing an up number situation. Let's say there's a rogue sitting here and a rogue sitting here, and a rogue sitting here. Let's just say it's all rogues, just for simplicity. You have 1 floater, right? You go ghost your node. What does that mean? It means you can easily get the node instantly because it's much easier to fight on an enemy rogue's node than it is fighting on your node because you have the threat of capping on them and they don't have it on you. They have to kill you, right? You can win by capping their base and stalling it. So if you can force the fight on their node, that's always going to be really good. But let's say in this situation, you ghost the node and then, oh no, the floater comes and he helps the guy and you can't get it because you're getting 2v1, right? But what if your other rogue ghosts the node, right? Now you're forcing 2 situations where, you're forcing 2 favorable 1v1s, right? Because remember, these are all rogues, and fighting on their node is a lot easier than fighting on your node. You don't want to fight on your node as much as you can. So I would recommend it's very advanced, and you have to be very aware, and you have to know that someone's going to float for you, and you have to know that no one's going to come from mid and take your node. But if you can ghost your node on EOTS, it is very good, because remember, mid is largely irrelevant, and the second you get 3, you're basically going to win the game, as long as you can hold it. So that's EOTS right there. Now we'll go over default. This will be the fastest one by far, actually, like, really, really fast. So you have 8 people, everyone goes team fight, team fighting over here, team fight going this way. And then you're going to have carts on the map that spawn here. This cart goes all the way up here and then caps here. This cart goes all the way down here and caps here. And on this map, your job as a rogue is basically to kill healers most of the time, especially at lower ratings. You're going to kill and CC healers. And at the very start of the game, you're going to make sure your cart does not get stolen. And you're going to see if they are ghosting their cart. So if the game starts, everyone's down here, your cart should be like about here. And then it's going this way. Their cart will be the same. Their cart will be right here. You're going to click your BGE. Do they have stealthies? Are they in the cart? You don't want to go to this cart if you know they are sitting it. It's a waste of time because you can have numbers in mid, right? If you know they are sitting in the cart, you can force an 8 versus 7 mid instead of an 8v8 or a 7v7 because you're in there and you're killing the healer. But yeah, you're going to sit your cart at the start of the game, make sure it doesn't get stolen. You can also put this job on someone else, like a Ret Pally or a Hunter or something. But generally, this is your job. And in terms of the actual team fighting, you want to go healers a lot. Because as soon as you kill a healer, you can trade 1 for 1, right? So let's say you kill a priest in the middle of the map right here. Let's say you're Horde. You cheap shot bomb a priest because you know he has no trinket, no PSs, no nothing. The priest dies. Where does the priest spawn? Priest spawns all the way back here. What can you do as a rogue, right? Priest dies right here. You press vanish, sprint all the way to the graveyard. Even though this fight is still happening, you're just gonna leave it. You're gonna leave the fight, sprint all the way to the graveyard, and you're just gonna vanish sap the healer out of the fight while these carts are still capping. You're obviously trading 1 for 1, but healers are way more valuable than you are, especially on this map. This is Rogue's weakest map, so in general, trading 1 for 1 it can be very good a lot of times. Even on a DPS sometimes. It's good to just trade 1 for 1 and shut down the DPS. Alright guys, that's it for the Blitz maps, and that is going to be it for the guide here. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed. This is a very, very long video. Again, the slideshow will be in the description, and I'll have some more information in the description. I'll have the Discord in the description. Just to restate some things, I am thinking about doing some more educational content, so let me know if that'd be something you're interested in the comments. Like, please let me know if that's something you guys would like, some arena commentary, or maybe some more guides or something like that. But regardless, I'm streaming every day now, basically, on my Twitch, twitch.tv/Calvish, right here. And this guide was only created because I reached a sub goal. So if you want to support me there and get some other videos or guides or whatever, then make sure to check me out there. But either way, thank you guys so much for watching. Like the video, subscribe, and again, comment if you want to see some other things. But good luck in your games, guys. Good luck with the sub rogue. Peace out.